So what are we going to do? I've already looked into this a little bit last week, so I have some things prepared, but I want to start from the scratch. Let me turn something off here. So we will create a new repository called Handle Twitch Events using Github Actions. And Github Actions cannot retrieve Twitch events directly, so we need some kind of proxy, some kind of server which retrieves I think they're called event sub, or like webhook requests, if you want to call them that way, from Twitch, and then trigger the action to start in the repository. So this is what we're going to do in this repository. And yeah, I want to start out by setting up a very simple function and then also set up continuous deployment for it using Netlify's GitHub app. So I already created the repository here. Here is the Netlify function, ping.js, which just returns status code 200 and a pong. And if I recall correctly, I have the Netlify CLI installed already. So I can just do Netlify dev, I think, and it will start the local server. Oh, that's interesting. It just injects environment variables, so I don't even need to use .env. I didn't know. So I've set up some, some secrets here already for later, and I didn't know that Netlify CLI recognizes these and just injects them into the functions. That is great. So here is our local server, and at .netlify functions ping, we get pong. So that just works as expected, which is great. So this is our function, and that's what we want to start out with. So that works as expected. All right, so let me also add a readme.md file here. And the package we do not want to publish to npm, I think. So at least for now, I think it's called publish private, right? Yeah. So we just set it to private just to make sure that we don't accidentally publish this anywhere and accidentally like push our .env file and whatnot. Okay. And in the README, just call this and then see our show URL for more information. I can fill this out later. Maybe let's add some license information right away here. Okay. So let's add that. Initial version. And then I have to create a repository. So we'll use the GitHub CLI, which you can get at github.com/CLI, I think. And then I can do gh-repo create. Yep. Repository description. I think it's self-explanatory. It will be public. Yes, I want to set up the git remote. So I created the repository, but there is an update to the CLI, so I can run this in a moment. But for now, I also want to git push the local branch to remote. And I can then view the current repository in the browser. All right. So here we are. Here's our Netlify function. And now oh, sorry, I just, I'm not really good at following the commands, Levin. You know, just ask away. If you have a question, just ask away, and I'm just happy to help you with anything I can. I wish there was like some kind of audio notification or something. If I received a comment on Twitch, so I'm not very good at watching them. Okay. So now we go to Netlify. So you will need a Netlify account, which is all free. Just sign up. And then with GitHub, you can just add a new repository here. I think there are other ways. I think you can use the CLI as well. Actually, maybe let me try to do that. I've never used it before, the CLI. So let me see. I think there is Netlify in it. Wow. I have no idea what will happen. Connect this directory to an existing. Create and configure a new site. Yes. Yep. Okay, so it already has my authentication. Oh, the site name. That is cool. Okay, yes, I want to authorize using their GitHub apps. I guess it will open my browser now. Okay. So that is fine. Open this browser. So this is now the overflow for a GitHub app. Oh, actually for an OAuth app, interesting. All right. Okay. So what's next? I don't have a build command, so I guess I just leave it empty. Okay. Netlify functions, yep. All right, so I guess I'm all set. So it updated my gitignore and added the Netlify folder to it. That makes sense. Okay. All right, that's a lot of questions. Hold on 1 second, Levin. Okay, living in a van, could you please file an issue on the gr2m helpdesk repository? Because I think this is quite unrelated to our current show. Let me open this here. Oh, this is a nice use case, so I'm happy to do like, you know, maybe like a whole show about this if you like. But it's because I'm talking today about Twitch events. Oh no, don't be sorry. I'm just glad people are here and watching and asking questions. But if you could go to my helpdesk, gr2m helpdesk repository and file an issue and just reference this one, or like quickly explain your use case. I'm happy to either help you there directly, or maybe if it's, you know, a common enough use case, to make a show about it next week, okay? All right. Thank you. So we have we have the app here now in my Netlify app. But the deployment failed. Why did it fail? Oh, okay. I've already have the code basically for my next step, and it's failing because it just verifies that I have all the dependencies. So I'm just going to install it, which is actually, let me make this a little bit bigger. npm core. And let me see if there's anything else that we are dependent on here. .env we already have. Okay, I can also install this one here. But I only need that locally, so I can install it as a dev dependency. Okay, build deps, AutoCAD core. Let's push it and see if that works now. So this is, oops, that's not the view I wanted. All right, so here is the deploy log. So that seems to have worked. All right, so I guess if we go to .netlify functions ping, yay! So we have our Pong. Perfect. So this is what we've now did so far. Is we created a new repository. We got the handle Twitch events using Github Actions repository, and we added this very simple function. And then we set up Netlify, and we tested it locally using the CLI. Oh, hi Maxo. And we also already set up continuous deployment. Okay, so the next step here that I want to do is now look into this Twitch subscription stuff and the webhooks. I was very confused by it. I'm used to have some kind of UI and like configuration and basically say like, hey, like set up this webhook. When this event happens, send it to this URL. But correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows better, but there is no such UI. Like I just haven't seen it. So instead, what I want to do for the time being is I created like a little script that I can just run, like a command line interface script to list subscriptions and to create and delete subscriptions. So I linked the Twitch events up, which is basically the webhooks thing, the new thing from Twitch, as far as I understand. And there are all kinds of subscriptions that you can subscribe to. Like when you go to subscription types, you can see there are a ton of them. And I think there is the one that I am interested in are the stream subscriptions, which is stream online and stream offline. Cool, Maxwell. Yeah, like I will show you what I found out, and maybe you can comment, you know, on the issue in my help desk with whatever you found out. So I've added the script. Let's look at the script. I don't think I added it to this repository yet, but I have it now in my help desk repository. So I have the scripts folder here, and I just paste it here. And here I'm just, you know, okay, I will need node fetch now. So what am I doing here? I basically get command line arguments, and then I authenticate. So I'm not using any kind of library. I kind of wanted to understand what is happening behind the curtain, and I found out how I can use the Twitch app client ID and secret to authenticate. Oh, I should maybe talk about like what is a Twitch app. So actually, I don't even know where I could register these apps, but I guess when you go to dev Twitch, then your console, I think. Oh yeah, and then register your application. So basically here you can register your application and then you get the credentials for this application, and you authenticate as the application to set up subscriptions. All right, so I'm here. I'm sending a request, like a GET request, with these query parameters: client ID, client secret, and grant type. And then now it's actually a post request, interestingly, but I still append query parameters, and then I retrieve the response. Okay. So, and then the response includes the response body, includes an access token key, and then I can either list, create, or delete. So let me see. Nodes, scripts, Twitch subscriptions. If I run this, oh, okay. It complains because this is an ESM script and I have to define it as a module here as well. Undefined, not supported. So, you know, it's not very elaborate, but basically I think I have to pass list as the first argument. Yep, so here it is. And this is my, you know, UI to see what subscriptions I've actually set up. So I've set up 2 which send to my helpdesk app, basically, to the same function that I have here, but in my helpdesk repository. So what I want to do is I want to create a new one and send it to this repository. All right. Now, before I create it, I think if I recall correctly, I can use the Netlify dev and say -- live. And this will create an HTTP tunnel. And I'm so jealous. Like, shout out to the Netlify folks. This is amazing. This is the kind of dev experience I want. Also for the GitHub tooling that I've been working on for so long and we don't have. But basically now I have a URL here which I can just share. And it's pointing directly to my computer. Like, how cool is this? So .netlify .functions ping pong. So there you go. We received this request and we responded with a 200. All right. So now let me see how I set up the script. When I create then okay. So basically the callback is my first argument after the action. So I think if I restart it, I hope that it will remain the same URL. So let me do the following. Node scripts. Yeah, I don't know if they're using ngrok or something else. I've used ngrok in the past, longer time ago, and you know, it had all kinds of problems, but maybe they have some kind of agreement with ngrok or local tunnel, or they just created their own stuff. I mean, they have good ops folks at Netlify. So create, and then I just paste this URL here, and then my script should do 2 things. These event subscriptions with Twitch are basically per event. I cannot say like create a webhook event for multiple events. I have to create 2 subscriptions, 1 per event. Oh, it won't stay the same? All right, you know what? In that case, what I will do is I just use my terminal here. Let me put it here so we can see it. And I just run the comment here. So I can keep this running in the background. Yeah, you're right. It's always different. Thanks yourself. It's just saved me some headache there. All right, so let's remove this URL and paste this URL. And then you can see I sent 2 post requests to create event subscriptions, one for stream online and one for stream offline. And it's authenticated using the access token I received before. It's passing the app client ID, which is one of the credentials you receive when you register an app with Twitch. And this is basically the request body. So you have to hard code the version, just in case, I guess they can introduce a new version where it change the format without a breaking change. You can set up some conditions which are documented in their dev docs. So in this case, I just want to limit it to the events from my own user account. I guess you could have multiple channels. I'm still new to Twitch. So just to be future-proof, I just want to subscribe to my Gregor Codes user account here, which I configured in my .env locally. And then, yeah, so I transport method. This is the URL that I'm pasting as the 4th parameter here, plus the local path, and then the secret. And then the secret is to verify that the post request was actually sent by Twitch. So they will create a signature for the request body using the secret, and then I can use the same algorithm using the same secret, and then it should just work. All right, so let's just see if that works. Okay, it tells me subscriptions created. And if I list them, I now see the new events. So these are the previous ones and these are the new ones. So that is great. Okay, so now there's also like a delete event if I want to clean up later, but that's for later. Okay, so far so good. Now let's look at this Twitch function. This is basically my proxy. This is the function which will, it's accessible over HTTP. Yeah, please do, Maxwell. I've used, actually I want to use their CLI right now. I wrote some comments here on top of this file, on this function file. So basically, I think I still have the Twitch CLI installed. Okay, it doesn't even know. All right. So this is the Twitch CLI, and then I can simulate events. So basically I can simulate that a verification, the event verification flow works. So basically what happened, I think I should see it here, is that when I create a subscription, then Twitch sends like an upfront request to verify that I actually can receive requests at this URL, and I have to respond with a challenge, which is like a parameter that they send in the post requests. So basically here I check the headers, and if the header has this message type, and the message type header is set to webhook callback verification, then I have to respond with this. And I don't think that it actually worked, because I think I should have seen logs here in my local server. And maybe when I do a list, maybe it tells me something that these are not verified yet or not. I'm not sure. Enabled. Oh, the verification failed. So here we go. Oh, look, the URL is wrong. You see the double slash, probably that might be the problem. So let's go back to my script and see how the delete command works. Yeah, it's the same. So I can just, instead of create, I can say delete. And now list again, and now I should just see the two, okay. And now create again, and I should probably just remove the trailing slash here, but well, whatever. You get the idea. All right, let's see list now. So the URLs look good now. Let's make sure that our ping function works. Yep. Okay, so you see now here verifying webhook. So that, I think it worked. Yep. So it's now enabled. So this is the first thing you need to do in your function. Basically, the webhook verification flow, and it must be in place. It must be working when you create this webhook. This is why I had this local server running already. Here, right? So this is this part. So we are done with that. Next up, we do the signature validation, and okay, yeah, here's another tip how to get your user account ID, because this is what I needed for the condition. As you remember, you know, when I do the list again, like I have this condition here to limit this only to my one broadcaster user ID, and this is where I needed this ID. And with the Twitch CLI, you can quite easily, that's the easiest way I found to find the user ID of your Twitch account. Okay, and now we can simulate events, which is pretty cool. So what's happening here is I pass two parameters. One is my user account ID, and the other one is the webhook secret. So this will fail. It should fail anyway, because this is not my actual secret. So you see I got a 401, and that's what I expected, because a signature could not be verified. So let me just turn this off real quick here. I don't want to show you all my secrets, I'm sorry. Or you know what? No, actually there's an easier way. So instead of this line, I think that's the only place where I use it. I now use, oops. I just hardcode secret. And you'll see this time I got a 200, so it worked. So basically the whole verification worked. If this secret that I have configured in my environment variables is the same that I used for the subscription when I created a subscription. Okay, but we don't want to change that. We just confirmed that this is working. And then I check a few other things, basically if it's a supported event or not. I only want to care about stream online and stream offline. If I ever subscribe to more, I don't want to worry about these. Then I make double sure, although I shouldn't need to, that the broadcaster ID is actually my ID, but I feel I could remove it because it's a condition of the subscription. Okay, and then this is where OctoKit comes in place. So this is why I needed to install OctoKit Core, because I create a repository dispatch event in a repository, and the repository dispatch event is basically like a manual event you can trigger for repository to which GitHub Apps and also GitHub Actions can subscribe to. So this is basically the glue code that we use in order to we receive a glitch event, we handle it with our Netlify function, and then we send a request to our repository, which is not helpdesk here anymore. Instead, it's this one here. All right, and then we just log something and we respond okay, and that's it. Okay. Let me see, what did we change here? Let's review our changes. I don't want to mess anything up. Okay, we just changed the repository here. Okay. Update repository for dispatch event to this one here. And the rest is just about the script, right? So I added node fetch. I made it a module, so it's basically, we can just say like build add script to add list remove Twitch subscriptions. All right. Before we push it, now what I need to do is, I probably should have done this before, but I need to go to my Netlify deploy settings here and environment. And now I need to edit the environment variables. And I basically need to add the same credentials here. So I just will not show you this for a second. Sorry. So what I'm going to do is I just open my local.env file and just add all these same credentials that I have locally. Into my configuration on Netlify. Okay. Then oh, I also need to add the Github token. Let me do that. Github token. Save. All right, so Netlify is just showing all the values, so I can't show you that I've actually added them, but you have to trust me on it. I added all the credentials. Let's see. We can show you my... Oh wait, I think I still have the .env file open. Yep. Let's not show you that. Okay. And I think we are basically done. Actually, there is no super easy way for me. I mean, I can look at the logs for Netlify to see if I see any errors, but I can just jump ahead and do the next step here. So we added the script. We added this and walked through this Twitch serverless function that is deployed to Netlify, which is creating the repository dispatch events. And now lastly, let's create a Github action which acts on these dispatch events. And I have this prepared as well already here, handle Twitch events. So let me just add this one here. I have to create a .github workflows repository, and in there I add this handle Twitch events YAML file. And then this is now GitHub Action. So this workflow file, it has a trigger for repository dispatch events. And then I can define type. When you see where I created dispatch events, I defined an event type, which is Twitch, so I can filter by the event type. And then I just pass a client payload where you can pass in whatever JSON you want. So here, it will say either online or offline, I think. But we will see, because all I do in this workflow is I log out the value of the hold repository dispatch event payload. So we will see what it says. Okay. Okay, add GitHub Action workflow to handle Twitch dispatch events. All right. So this is this. Let me see. Now it's interesting because, like, how can I test it, right? I can't test it with the CLI. I just need to use the real secret. But I configured the secret in just my local environment as an environment variable, so I should be able to test it. We shall find out. All right, so this is the deployment. So that worked. And now where can I see the, oh yeah, here. Functions. Okay, site overview. Let's go here. Let's again go to my Netlify functions ping and see if these logs work. I don't know why I always, like the other day or week when I tested this, I always get this error that the logs are unavailable when in fact they are totally available. Well, the functions work, but I don't see any logs. Hello? I don't remember if I even see a log or if it would only log out if I use a console log. So let's just assume that this works. Let's go back to functions. Let's go to Twitch. And now this is the URL that we will simulate our stream up event. So stream up. And now I'm not a bash expert, but I hope that I can just use my secret variable here. Oh no, what just happened? Let's make this a little bigger. Accepts at most 1 args, received 2. What do you mean? What's wrong here? Twitch event. Maybe it didn't. 4.1. Maybe I have to update my local. Oh, it worked, it worked. Oh, I'm very excited. Okay, hold on. Well, the first one could not be verified, but I think, all right, Gregor is online. Wow, today is a good day. So I kind of simulated now that Twitch did send this event. And now I should see my action being triggered here. Oh, it already was. Look at this. There we go. And this is my Github action, which was triggered by a Twitch event, even if I simulated it, but it's the same as the real thing. So you can see this is the type, the client type, Twitch, that I've configured, and this is the client payload, which is stream online. And that's it. The rest is just always there. Like it's repository and sender, which is just GitHub Actions, I think. Oh no, it's just, oh, it's me because I created the repository dispatch event authenticated using a Github token for my gr2m user. But anyway, that's it. So we have now events that we can use in GitHub Actions, and here we can do whatever we want with it. So I would say mission accomplished. That is very cool. I am very, very happy. So next up, I need to delete basically I need to go back to my scripts, right? Oops. Oh no, what did I do? Nothing, okay. So where is here? Notes, script, Twitch subscriptions, list. So first I will remove the subscription for, what are the actions here? Scripts, list, create, delete. So it's delete for this one. Okay. And then it's create for this new URL, which is like the live URL for this Netlify function hosted in this repository without the trailing slash, as we learned. All right, let's see. I now should have received this verification flow here. Yeah, it seemed already to have worked because it tells me that it's enabled. So yep, verifying webhook, and you see it twice because it's once for the online event and once for the offline event. So basically we are all set now. Whenever I start or stop a stream, this little test repository here will receive events and will then just log out the whole event. So this is my little test repository, and it just worked as expected. So I still have like 10 minutes. We went through what I wanted, and now in my helpdesk repository, I wanted to replace the schedule triggers now using these events. So I can look into that. Unless you have any questions, then now is a good time. Let me see, you actually commented here a little bit. Okay. So Maxwell, I'm expecting your comment here. And yeah, living in a van, like I'm awaiting your issue regarding your use case. I'm very curious to learn more about that. And now, let me go to my helpdesk repository. Let's close the terminal. Actually, no, let's go back to the terminal because I have to pull the latest changes. Okay, and now maybe the event I can start out with is handle show done. So right now as a trigger, we have issues closed. So basically I have, after I finish my stream here, I have to go in, close the issue, and then it will trigger all kinds of stuff like resetting my Twitter account and so on. Actually, let's see what it all does. So it gets the current show, it posts another comment. So right now we do not only want to post a comment, we also want to close, but we can do that later. Here it updates my Twitter profile and it updates the to-do, so that looks all good. So let me actually just add this right now, like YOLO. I think I have a test for this, but you know. So I'm pretty sure it's a patch, if I recall correctly. Wait, I don't have my type ahead here? Huh. What's going on? Let me install. Oh, OctoKit is any? Oh, I see. Well, let me fix this real quick. So this is Node.js process env. So I'm basically setting types now here. This is just core, which is imported up there, so I can just use it here. This is OctoKit, which also is what I'm importing here. And Twitch request is okay. This is any. Like I don't have types for this. So now I should actually get proper type adds. Yep. So here we go. This is what I want. So now I'm sure that this is the right one. Close issue. Close the current show issue. And we don't have a body, but I think it's state. Yep. And look, all these nice type aheads here. Closed. Okay. Issue closed. Okay, so now we close the issue. We don't need to do it manually anymore. And then I think I have this Twitch, yep, event here as well. So basically, I use it as a trigger. And then if GitHub event, and I can basically make a condition now here. Where is the whole output here of the payload? So I can go GitHub event client repository type equals, and I think I have to use single quotes, and then check for not online but offline. So basically this will only be triggered if it's a repository dispatch event with event type Twitch. But because there can be either the stream online or offline event, I'm filtering it here. And then I run the handle show event, and I think this should be all it takes to do this. So let me see, handle show done. Oh yeah, I have a test file here. So anyway, let's be proper. I have another 5 minutes. Oh, comment URL. What? Oh, this is the problem. All right. Okay, so here is the handle show done test. Oh, interesting. So basically, let's remove this whole thing, because turns out I have a patch event here already where I update the body. Like this is where I automatically update these checkboxes. So let's say to-dos an issue updated and issue closed. All right. Handle show done test. So that makes sense. So here where I'm basically checking for the patch, I now have to add state closed. And then I have to, I think there I have a, yeah, I check for the logs. To-dos an issue updated, issue closed. So that should pass now. So now I updated the tests. Cool. So now feature, use Twitch as trigger for closing a help desk show issue and updating Twitter. no, for handling the end of show. That sounds better. All right, so let's push that. Well, that's it for today. I will stop my stream, and you know, if the demo gods are with us today, it might just work, and it might just automatically close this issue and create a comment and update my Twitter profile. And if not, well, then I have to do some stuff manually and figure out what was wrong. But you know, there's only one way to find out. So thanks again, everyone, for watching. Thanks, Maxwell and Living in Event, for your questions and your participation today. And I will see you again next Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, where I don't yet know what I'll be talking about, but maybe about Living in Event's questions. So stay tuned. Thanks. Bye.